We interrupt your normal listening with a special report from WMSY Newsroom. We now go to Chip Checkers with old news.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chip Checkers, and this is old news. Breaking news from Washington today. A war has been formally declared on Christmas. Reports indicate that after the EPA announced that Santa was a major contributor to global warming due to giving out so much cold as well as methane from the reindeer, Congress voted to declare war, citing that every year Washington, D.C. is covered in 2 feet of coal and they have had it. The Secretary of Defense defended the controversial decision, stating, "Christmas has already conquered Thanksgiving. We have to stop it now before it gets to Halloween too." The Pentagon is ordering NORAD to keep tracking for Santa Claus while they scramble F-35s to intercept him, while the President is promising that there will be no boots on the ground in order to fight this war. This just in, the Pentagon has sent out orders that all military personnel must now wear sneakers and flip-flops. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now getting word that our roving reporter is on the scene at a local store. We now go live to him.
Thanks, Chip. I'm here where armed forces have occupied toy stores, sections of department stores, and, with the reasoning of just to be safe, the post office, all in attempts to hunt down and stop any Christmas influence. Oh, wait, we're getting word that... Yes, Chip, it appears in accordance with the no boots on the ground policy, a column of tanks have moved in on an old Christian church on the other side of town. Before they could get near, however, a group of Muslims, following the example of their brethren in Egypt, have formed a human wall around the church to prevent the military from getting to it and giving safe passage to Christians. This, however, was followed by a group of rednecks surrounding the Muslims in protest. More as it develops. Back to you, Chip.
Thank you, Roving. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten more information from the military about their ongoing war efforts. Attempts to get the F-35 in the air have so far been unsuccessful due to a myriad of computer and system problems that have plagued the planes for months, if not years. However, they say they are confident they will have them ready to go within the next few days. Meanwhile, the CIA has begun recruiting a number of young children in attempts to infiltrate malls across the country, their goal being to gather information on the whereabouts of Santa. Children repeatedly responded with the question, "What's a mall?" The CIA is now forced to use midgets, leading to Hollywood to begin an impromptu filming and immediate greenlight of Bad Santa 3. Speaking of Hollywood, the FCC has announced that TBS has had their broadcasting rights revoked, citing constant attempts every year to brainwash people into celebrating Christmas with yearly marathons of A Christmas Story. TBS and its defenders argued, however, that the idea is preposterous and baseless, pointing out that the movie can't brainwash anyone when it has commercial breaks every 3 minutes. This just in. The Secret Service have announced that they have apprehended the Elf on the Shelf after it was discovered in the White House and are holding it under espionage charges. It is currently in a holding cell adjacent to a Furby doll. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have news from the North Pole about their reactions to the war. A polar vortex has been sent across America ahead of Santa's planned path. Representatives from the North Pole state that they have predicted this event and have been running drills since July, while the Easter Bunny has announced his allegiance with Christmas as well. Before embarking on what the Easter Bunny called an underground campaign, he stated that he did not want to originally get involved, but the United States would have dragged the war on long enough to involve Easter anyway. Meanwhile, the Air Force has stated that they are still having difficulties with the F-35, with one technician overheard yelling something about unleaded gasoline only. Ladies and gentlemen, we again go live to our roving reporter who has more breaking news from the front. Roving?
Thanks, Chip. The crowd gathered at the church has grown, with ACLU groups surrounding the protesters protesting the Muslims that have formed a wall around the church to protect it from the ongoing war. They were followed by busloads of Occupy Wall Street protesters, who then began protesting all of them for taking away attention and relevance from their own protests. With the groups taking up multiple city streets now, another unidentified group of people have arrived and begun encircling them. I'll see if I can get a quote from one of the newcomers to see what they are here for. Excuse me, sir, what is your group's part in the protests going on tonight?
Wait, what? You mean this isn't the line for Star Wars Rogue One?
Well, it appears the new group is confused moviegoers, Chip, which goes in line with something that was told to us earlier this week about the holiday season. Always be careful and know your surroundings when out and about. This goes doubly so for the weekend after Thanksgiving, which, as we all know, has the Christmas events known as Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and Lip Service to Jesus Sunday. Back to you, Chip.
Thank you, Roving. NORAD has announced that Santa has appeared on their radar and attempts have already been made to intercept. While air bases are reinflating F-35 tires, anti-air weapons managed to shoot down Rudolph. While tragic, statements from the North Pole indicate Santa was warned about not bringing him out tonight on account of being a highly visible target. Meanwhile, WikiLeaks has announced that they are releasing Santa's Naughty and Nice list, which was leaked to them by an anonymous elf. However, Santa is still getting presents delivered on schedule despite sealed chimneys and booby-trapped cookies and milk. Santa revealed he had a new technique he learned in Japan. However, children staying up late to witness it were left screaming in terror as their televisions, despite being turned off or unplugged, broadcasted images of fireplaces, out of which Santa crawled through the television and into the rooms. Breaking news. The United States government has officially demanded that as part of Christmas's surrender, the holiday must become more politically correct. Among the notes is changing the name of the Christmas star to the Holiday Star. When it was mentioned the star was named after Jesus, the ACLU stated he should change his name to Holly, so holiday makes more sense. After angered Christians pointed out Jesus was a boy and that wouldn't work, the ACLU said that Jesus was free to be whatever he wanted to be. Later in the same meeting, they revealed they had commissioned a famous author to rewrite the Bible to make it more politically correct, as well as more interesting to modern audiences. The author, famous for 50 Shades of Grey, stated she was including previously removed Gospels to the New Testament, since modern consumers enjoy deleted scenes. She gave a preview reading today for her version of the Gospel of Mary, which we have obtained a clip from.
The scene opens to Mary tied to a cross. Mary is whipped. Mary says, "Oh, Jesus." Mary is whipped. Mary says, "Oh, Jesus." Mary is whipped. Mary says, "Oh, Jesus." Jesus says, "Don't worry, it'll be my turn soon." Mary is whipped. Mary says...
The reading was then interrupted by numerous lightning bolts striking the building. Officials nearby said the tree lighting ceremony wasn't for another couple days, but since the lights were on now, despite no power source, they might as well do it. Meanwhile, the author has made this comment, "Has anybody else had their cigarettes burning faster lately?" In other tragic news, an F-35 pilot became stuck inside his cockpit for 20 minutes. During that time, the radio malfunctioned and would only broadcast the Justin Bieber-Rebecca Black Christmas musical extravaganza. After 20 minutes, the pilot was crying in pain with blood coming from his ears. He frantically tried to eject without success, and then proceeded to shoot himself with his service weapon. Forgive the interruption, we are now getting more information from our roving reporter.
This is your roving reporter with breaking news. The doors of the church at the center of so much attention have opened, and an old man with a confused look on his face has exited. He is saying something now. Apparently the church was actually sold to him years ago due to low attendance, and he was about to open his knick-knack store when he noticed the crowds and came to see what was the matter. The crowds and military are dispersing now, with the ACLU lawyers commingling with all of them, and it appears now that everything is returning to normal. Back to you, Chip.
Thank you once again, Roving. The ACLU has announced that to fix the issue of holiday being based off the words holy day, they are now running an online poll to let the public vote and choose what phrase should replace it. However, sites such as 4chan have joined in on the process, and currently the leading phrases are my butt, grandma sweat, 9/11, offensive words, and Hitler did nothing wrong. When faced with the influx of troll votes, the ACLU was overheard stating, God expletive, pull the expletive plug now, you stupid expletive, as they ended the voting campaign after 2 minutes. Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. The war on Christmas is now over. A single F-35 managed to take off and stay in the air for more than 2 minutes, leading the Pentagon to declare it a Christmas miracle. Officially recognizing Christmas, they had no choice but to end the war. Reports from Washington is that they are happy it ended fairly peacefully, as they looked out their windows to carolers singing in the gently falling coal. The rival developers of Call of Duty and Battlefield video game franchises are already bidding on exclusive rights to make a game based on the war, stating, "We already did all the good wars." They also took the moment to advertise their games coming out this season, Call of Duty VFW and Battlefield War of 1812. As Santa continues his rounds, we here at WMSY Old News wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a good night. This is Chip Checkers, checking out.